Welcome to episode 36 of the Romantic About Baseball podcast. I am your host, Adam McKinnon, joined as often by my co-host, Jim Passon Jr. Jim.
Hey, welcome to the regular season finally, eh?
It took us 35 episodes to get back here, but it is our first regular season episode since episode 1. And we are, so you'll notice we are on video this time. The first half of our show will be on video, posted to our YouTube and our RAB TV channel. The second half will go back to the regular audio. So you can find that on the regular podcast feed. So
yeah, I'm going to shave for the second half.
That's what we do over break. We're going to do like a little like outtake video. It'll be great.
Get my face ready for radio.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see my daughter's play castle in the back here. So
nice.
This is and then my little memorabilia wall on the back of my barren basement room. So keeping the decor.
I got like a box of Ichiro bobblehead, and then Edgar Martinez Drive thingamajigger, free stuff I got from the baseball game.
While wearing a Yankees shirt.
Yeah, I don't pay for things. Yeah, I didn't pay for this shirt either.
Yeah, exactly. Why pay for things when they're free?
Yep.
Speaking of things that we probably wouldn't have paid for, how about an opening day game that doesn't even make it? They have a 60-game season that doesn't even make it through the whole game.
Yeah.
So it's opening day was the most 2020 opening day in the history of 2020 of opening day because it rained out, of course. Yeah.
Because there was another game too, but you had to stay up until whenever to watch it, right?
Us East Coasters we had to be up until 1 a.m. to kind of like finish that one out. So
yeah.
But and of course, and not just that, it's not like we can't just not have nice things. All right, the game, the Yankees and the Nationals game gets rained out, but you don't even get Juan Soto in the game, who tested positive for a coronavirus like hours before game time. It's we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. We agreed before the show we weren't going to go down the rabbit hole, but the Braves lose both their catchers before a game. This is not going away, and we are going to do these regular season shows just kind of knowing that the rug can be pulled out from under us at any point.
Yeah, sadly. Yeah. I mean, even opening day, besides Soto getting right there at the end, positive test, right? Then Kershaw gets pulled right before the game too. And so both the opening day games, I guess opening day, using day as a pretty loose term, because I don't know why you wouldn't have day games on opening day. But man, it's just been 2020.
Yep. That about sums it up. So, anyway, one of the other, we forgot about the other like big thing, the thing we were going to talk about, the expanded playoffs that the league decided to drop, to slide in right before opening day, which, it's something, Jim.
Whatever, I guess, right? I mean, give it to us. But the reason why we're even dealing with it, right? I don't believe in a league that lets half the teams into the postseason. I don't believe any league should do that.
And you know what? It's like, I get it, but I got to respect, and I think they were talking about this on Effectively Wild, and I had to think Sam Miller was talking about it. You have to respect almost the league just a little bit, because it's not just that, hey, this season's weird and we know that no one's really going to care about it. Let's just tattoo it across our foreheads that, like, you know what, let's just make it expanded playoffs. Yeah, you want runners on second for extra innings?
Sure.
What better time? You know what I mean? Like, let's just, if we're going to go weird, like, let's just dive headfirst into strangedom.
Yeah, let's just stick 53% of the teams into the postseason. I wouldn't do that with my fantasy baseball league.
I don't. It don't make no sense, man. Like, but you know what? Like, here's the question that I guess I've sort of posed in my mind during all of this. Like, what team really benefits from this? Like, what teams really sort of benefit from the field being expanded? And I wanted to run a couple of these by you because I've got some theories on this. Okay. So I look at a team like, say, the Diamondbacks. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's a team. They're a good, not great team. There's some high upside players on that team that could do some things, but really, not a great team, but they don't make a lot of mistakes.
Yep.
They're an elite fielding team. You know what I mean? They're not a team, and in a short season, they're not a team that's going to beat themselves a whole lot.
Yep.
So that's a team they would go from borderline to probably I would think they're a lock for the postseason.
It sure feels like it to me. I would have given them probably a quarter of a 25% shot, right, to make the playoffs at the beginning. I really do. I feel like that team's got. I mean, anything can happen, right? It's baseball, injuries, sickness, stuff like that. I mean, it feels like it's 3 times as good, right? Like there's a 75-80% chance this guy's making now. I was already high on him before, so yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine too many teams leapfrogging them. I just don't think the National League has 8 great teams anyway. So
they don't, and so and you look at teams like, okay, so the Diamondbacks, right?
Yeah,
that's a team. I think that's a team that it's not so much that they'll get hot; it's that they won't go that cold. No. In a season like this, dumb losses are magnified by a wider margin. So they're just a team that's not going to beat themselves. And if you're a team that's not going to beat yourself, there's no way you shouldn't make the playoffs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I also look at teams in tough divisions that are kind of in that same sort of good, but clearly flawed, like the Angels and the Mets. Like those are 2 teams that are in very hard divisions that are clearly flawed teams.
Yep.
Perfect example today, Edwin Diaz, saves the first game against the Braves, a pretty good lineup. And then, the Mets in extra innings cough up, 3 runs to lose the game.
Yep.
And so that's a team that could make the postseason, in a 16 team. So there's the teams that are okay, but in tough divisions. And the other teams are the movers and shakers, like the teams that made tons of moves for 2021, but now an expanded field, the White Sox, they were a team I was kind of on the edge about. I mean, they were a kind of a sexy pick because of all the free agents, and the Reds. These 2 teams that picked up a ton of players that are we could compete this year, but we're really aiming for next year.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. Those are just some thoughts. Do you see anything that jumps out at you?
I mean, I like it for, I'm an AL East guy being a Yankees fan, right? But I think it's great for teams like the Blue Jays and the Red Sox, right? Those are teams that, even their fan bases were, not high on them being able to make one of the final 5 spots, right?
Right.
But the way I see it now, that just the way it's set up, that there's possibilities there for them. I think the downside for them is how tough it's going to be to only play AL East and NL East teams all year long, right? I think that's going to be a downfall for the Red Sox and the Phillies and such like that, right? Just like the Blue Jays. So, I think that helps them. If you had asked me a week ago, I'd have probably said the Mariners, but it feels like the Mariners have already eliminated the playoffs already. They just don't. Kyle Lewis can't hit all the home runs and hit them far enough to score enough runs, I guess. But
I think there's a built-in disappointment factor that even the Orioles are not eliminated before the Mariners.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Mariners just look rough. Just young, right? They're years down the road. They needed this to happen in 2023 to me, but
is there a rebuilding team that you think could really surprise some people with an expanded? Could you see one of these rebuilding teams just getting hot and just sneaking in? Because I've got one in my head, but I want to hear what you think.
I could see the Royals doing it.
Yeah, see, that's the one I was going to pick. I was gonna say, wouldn't it be something if the AL Central, the AL Central produced 3 playoff teams?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Royals got a possibility. I'm not sold on. I mean, Minnesota's going to probably win that division in my eyes, right?
I don't see how
Cleveland's
they
right
can't. I,
there.
I don't see
Yeah,
the Indians as legit contenders
yeah,
as I think they're everyone. The industry is a little bit high on the Indians if I were to guess.
yeah. I just don't see. Yeah. I mean, I don't see too many people getting past the Indian or the Twins out of that, and the Indians probably in second, right? But still, even to me, the Twins are a step down from the Yankees and the Astros when it comes to postseason teams, right? When it comes to division winners, if those are the three that most are picking, just like I'm picking, it feels like a pretty far step down, which is an advantage to anybody else below them, right? It's like, okay, well, so now you got Minnesota, who's probably going to win the division, but we don't feel like they're the strongest division champ in the AL. And then you got the Indians, who are right. They
They're
got good
fine.
pitching. Yeah, they
Yeah.
got. I think they could put something together. They could win the division. Uh, but then you got, the Tigers are in that division. You do have the upstart White Sox in that division also. But the Royals are fast, right? And I love the way that they can produce runs with their legs. Uh, it's going to be fun to watch them. When you look at the teams that got to play out of the NL Central,
I could
really,
I could see, and here's the thing too, in that division, I could see the Indians like completely falling off the map because they
yeah,
got good starting pitching. But I mean, what good does that do you in this shortest season?
yeah,
Like what good does it really do you
yeah.
if you can't produce any runs?
Yeah, it's going to be like the Mets have to deal with, right? Every
Right.
DeGrom start, right? Where it's like, okay, the guy gave us a hell of a start again. He kept them down to 1 run or no runs, right? Are we going to win this game?
Yeah.
It's tough, right? So yeah, good pitching gets you a long ways, especially in a long season if you got consistency there. But yeah, in this short season, like everybody keeps multiplying everything by 2.7 because that's what it's worth in a 162 game season, right? So it amplifies, right? Every time you lose, it seems like craziness, and wins seem like it's the opposite end of it. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know what we're going to see. All I know is by the time it's all over, I mean, if the Indians win every other game, they're in the playoffs.
Right. I I was running it down in my head when I was going through this, and I thought, I held off from making any predictions this year, but I really like this. I really like this format to help teams that we would never normally see, in the playoffs. Like we wouldn't
Yep.
consider. I don't know how I really feel about the White Sox as a contender under the normal circumstances.
Yep.
Now, in your mind, do you think that cheapens? Because to me, I'm one of those weird. I'm not a baseball purist.
Yep.
I don't think it cheapens it all for me. I think it like makes it more fun.
Yeah. I didn't know. Purist, more
Yeah.
purist, I guess, in that manner, right? I didn't see anything wrong with the game before. So, I
Well,
mean,
good.
I get why they're doing what they're doing. It's,
I just hope it doesn't stick. I get it during a 60-game season. I get it.
yeah,
Okay, like this is weird. Let's just make it super weird. Let's go from like, slightly off kilter indie movie to like way towards like, foreign movie, you know what I
yep,
mean, type of thing. I
yep.
get that. But I just hope it doesn't stick cuz like I don't see this going.
I don't mind an expanded playoffs with 30 teams. I really don't mind if 12 teams make the postseason from 10. I don't mind getting rid of a one card damn playoff for a wild card game. I never really liked it. I like 3 game series. Baseball is a set of 3 game series all dang year, basically. It's
Right.
more like baseball to me instead of this, oh, hey, we got one good starting pitcher. Great. We're going to go win that wild card game. We're going to move on to the divisional round and stink because we don't have anything else. But we got that one good pitcher that locked it down for us, right? And so
Right.
I never really like the setup where it's at now. I wouldn't mind seeing it expand to 6 on each side, but
Right.
8 for this short season, sure, right? I mean, I guess whatever. I mean, it's nothing we can do about it now. I mean, but
Could we see a sub 500 World Series champ?
right? I mean, is that what you want?
I
Is that a Cinderella story, or is that a failure for the league? I mean, to me, I see it as a failure. If a team goes 14 or what goes 29-31, right?
Right.
It makes the postseason and then runs the table.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I mean, they probably had a winning record the postseason, I guess, right? I mean, so I guess at the end of the year they had a winning record, but is that really? I don't know if that's exciting. I mean, it's probably exciting for some. I mean, especially if it's not one of the big guys, right? I mean, the only thing, nothing would piss people off more as if it was like the Dodgers that went 28-32, snuck into the postseason,
Right.
then ran with it, right? Oh, great. You let them be the 8th seed and then they win it all,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, it's
It,
probably
it,
not likely, but
it's 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 kind of like, it feels like the league is going all in. It kind of feels like MLB is just saying, if no one's going to take this seriously, because you know that all we're going to do throughout the years, because nobody did this in 95, because we still got about 120 game season.
yeah.
You know, nobody did this in 82 because, you know, the strike was in the, the strike was in the middle of the year. So, you know, they split it up, and that was weird, but everybody moved on from it. You know, I think overall, I wonder if the league is just trying to sort of take this into such absurd territory that it'll, rather than look back on it as a failure, people will look back on it and say, oh, look how wild and weird this was. Like, they're almost trying to take a sort of satirical almost approach to it.
Yeah, it's like it's like a 2-for-1 special for them, right? There's what you're talking about, which in my eyes is like them just like, let's just try it and see if people like it or not, right? And then they just go and tell everybody that works for MLB that, hey, when you're on the radio, when you're on TV, or when you're doing whatever you do on the internet, right? Pitch it, you know, push us. Hey, we're giving it a shot. See what things happen with this runner on second and the extra innings thing, right? And throwing all that out there. When meanwhile, the whole time, really, the only thing it's ever really been about is money for owners. I mean, that's really all it's been, right? I mean, we didn't get an 81 game season because they had to keep negotiating with the Players Association and send them back another deal. It was worth the same value as the one before. Then we didn't get a 78 game season for the same reason. We didn't get a 72 game season. Next thing you know, they're just like, okay, tell us when and where. And we ended up with a 60 game season. So we couldn't get this long enough season, right? We lost. I mean, if every team lost 20 games, right, that's 15 times playing each other. That's 300 games we just lost of regular season. But in the end, okay, whatever. We got to be safe, right? COVID. We're only going to be able to do whatever we can do.
Right.
Maybe we could expand the playoffs. Wait a minute. Whoa, wait a minute. We couldn't expand the regular season because of issues, right? And now all of a sudden we get to expand the postseason. Well, yeah, the reason why they're doing that is because of dollars, right? It's all
it has to be. It engages. It engages more fan bases. It draws more eyeballs to the sport. When, you know, football. Well, if you think about it, football will just be trying to start up, and who knows if that's going to happen at this point. It's very opportunistic. I don't know that I hate it though on the surface level. I don't love it. And if this were the case going forward, I would think I would be like, no way.
It would water down a 162 game season. It would basically make, I mean, it would turn it into what the NBA already is, where it's like the great teams the last quarter of the season are just benching their players every other game because there's no reason to play them. And that's not what you want. That's not good. Now you just might as well cut the season down to 100 games if you're going to do this. You know, if you want to really just tear it apart, I guess, right? But
I hope they're doing. I guess it's just like, I mean, I get the idea of going all in on the weirdness of it, but I agree with you. I think I'm okay with it, like if it's this season, but like I don't, because why the hell not? But
I mean, they're throwing together a TV show at the end of our 60 game regular season so that the top 3 teams that get in on the NL side and the AL side get to pick their opponent at the beginning, right? They won't even seed them for them. They're like, nope, we're going to put together a whole show. We're going to have another hour-long show of okay, whoever took the first seed in the AL gets the first pick of who they want to play against, right? And it's just, and then whoever's left at the end play each other, right? It's just
it feels very
it's drama.
It feels very like, you know, game showy, reality showish, and I don't know. It's hard because it almost puts us in this position of like, we don't Are we turning into the get off my lawn guys? Are we turning
Yeah,
the game the right way, guys? I'm 34. I'm not old enough to like embrace that yet.
I want to celebrate the crazy about the game, but I don't want to celebrate the manufactured crazy about the game. I
Okay,
want to sell. I
that's
want the I want the silly stuff where a guy got caught in a rundown and then somehow snakes out of it because the defense plays poor like it was today,
right.
or that silly stuff. Give me that. I'll just take an hour of bloopers. But
But instead, we get The Bachelor.
Instead, we get reality drama show that's been totally manufactured. And it's
Can you imagine the Cincinnati Reds? Will you accept this rose?
Yeah, right.
Your
Exactly.
opponent is.
Yeah.
It's like the case opens up and it's a Reds logo, or it's like a Brewers logo or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
yeah, it's so I think I don't know if we agree on this, but to the fullest extent, but like we at least agree if it's gonna happen, we should do it this year, and no more.
Yeah. I mean, if something works and it does the game good, then okay, let's talk about it. Let's go at it, right? I mean, I noticed right now that even people are starting to fall in love with a runner on second base to start the extra innings. The Royals won today, and the first
they didn't
batter
get a hit. They didn't record a hit.
The first batter sacrifice bunt, that's an out. Next batter sack fly, there's an out and a run scored. Next guy walks after like a 12 pitch at bat or something like that, and then gets thrown out at second, stealing on the second pitch of the next at bat, right? I mean, the first three guys all made outs. The Royals went into the bottom of the 10th with a lead. It's extra innings. How did you do that? Oh, this, right? So Cleveland actually probably had a better half inning than the Royals did, but the Royals walked away with a victory. I mean, yeah, for every chance where we get the walk-off grand slam like we got on for Oakland's first game against the Angels, right? I mean, that's pretty damn neat, right? That's awesome. But for every one of those, we're going to get a Royals game to go the other direction, right? And you can say that about extra inning games when they were played from last year forward, right? I mean, it's the same thing. Sometimes you get a dud, sometimes you get a good one, right?
I agree with you. I think for every 18 inning meaningless, regular season game, we're going to end up with a drama-filled 10-inning game. And it's the other end of this too with this new rule. Like you said, you're going to get these garbage innings from the Royals that win the game. And then you're also going to get, the other end of the coin too. Like you could even say like the Mets Braves game today where both teams scored in the extra innings. You know what I mean? That wouldn't have happened otherwise. Like that, the way those teams were pitching, they would have gone well into the 15th, 16th inning.
Yep.
During a season, such a tight season. So
I
don't know, man. I'm not ready to, now that I've seen it in action, I'd say I dislike it. I wouldn't say that I hate it.
Yeah, there's only been a few, right? I mean, I stayed up and watched the Oakland one yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And caught the end of that one. And that 10th inning between the two teams, but both getting their shots, right, was like a 35-minute or nearly a 40-minute inning or something like that, if I remember correctly, right? It wasn't short. So did they get the action that they were looking for? Yeah. Could they have gotten that action without sticking a runner on second? Probably in that game. Yeah. Right. They could have still gotten there. They didn't need the runner on second to make that type of action.
We're going to have to have a mid-season check-in on how we're still feeling about all of this.
Yeah. I think we got to revisit it because, I'm not going to give up watching baseball. I'm going to have to accept that. They're going to start the extra innings with a runner on second. I haven't turned the TV off yet when it happened. So I guess ratings are going up because I'm still watching. So
right, if only man, what was his name? If only Charles O. Finley. What was his name?
No.
I should know that. I just interviewed Jason Turbo. If only these, it's such a wild concept, all of this, and I'll be really interested to see how it plays out for the rest of the season. So,
yeah.
we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Mookie Betts deal. So
we're going to move up to happy stuff.
Woo!